Hey Blades fans, welcome back to Hertz Arena for another edition of the Florida Everblades pregame show for the November 18th clash against the Atlanta Gladiators. And Jake, we were in this exact same spot last night. The Atlanta Gladiators were the second best team in the South Division, and the Everblades thumped them. 6-2 W here at Hertz Arena, and that's got to feel good for the guys in the locker room.
Yeah, I mean, it was clearly the Blades' best game of the season. A full 60-minute throttling of a team that was coming in here off a loss, but before that, they were the best team in the ECHL. And I mean, pretty much everything was going the Blades' way last night. We were even after the first, but even still, it felt like Florida had more jump than Atlanta did. And once we got to the second, the Everblades just took over the game, and there was really nothing Atlanta showed that we saw through the first 8 games of the season from them. It looked like they were a completely different team, and not a good way. For the Blades, it was great getting that third straight victory. Team is on a roll right now, and you got to keep it going tonight.
Everblades scored 2 goals to open up the scoring. Then Atlanta came back to tie it 2-2 at the first break, and then 2 goals in the second, 2 goals in the third, and made it the 6-2 final that we saw. Very consistent.
Very consistent.
Very consistent. But something that's got to be talked about is those 2 power play goals that the Everblades scored and the 2 power play goals that Atlanta scored. We saw 4 power play goals last night. That's become a huge part of both teams' games.
Yeah, special teams playing a gigantic factor in yesterday's match. On the good side, Blades power play scoring twice against the ECHL. What was the ECHL's best penalty killing unit last night, knocked down all the way to 6th by that big Blades performance, going 2 for 3. It was great to see them move, and getting that goal on the first power play of the game early in the man advantage really got them going the right way. On the other side of things, though, Atlanta scoring 2 power play goals against Everblades PK unit that has been a little underrated to start the year. They've been a strong group, but Atlanta found a way to break through, and you know both teams are going to focus hard on that. In the video, in the practice today, in the morning skate, all that kind of stuff, it's going to be very heavily leaning into the special teams because of how important they were last night. I mean, assuming that Atlanta is ready to go and try and respond and they don't want to lose 3 games in a row after winning 8 straight to start the year. They're going to put a big emphasis on their discipline. Blades have to do the same to make sure that late in the game, assuming we're in a tight one tonight, as opposed to what we had yesterday, you don't want a penalty at the wrong time to be the difference in the game.
Now, Atlanta trying to not make it 3 consecutive losses. The Everblades trying to make it 4 consecutive wins tonight. But Jake, a big reason a big way that they can do that tonight is what we saw in the first period last night. Blue line generated offense. We saw 2 goals from defensemen last night to start things off.
Yeah, Patrick Holloway and Will Riley. Will Riley with his first goal of the season was great to see. And yeah, this is a team that is built through their back end. This is a team that prides themselves on having guys on their blue line who can move the puck up the ice crisply with speed to get the Blades rush chances, and when they're in the attacking zone, handle the blue line, keep pucks on side so you can get sustained offensive pressure, and then you chip in with goals, assists, with tips and stuff like that. We saw that in the game against Orlando on Wednesday. It was Holloway who sent the puck perfectly over to Carpenter to score 0.1 seconds left in the first, and that completely changed the feel of that game on way to a 4-1 Everblades win. So when your back end is showing up on the score sheet, usually good things are going to happen for you.
The blue line has been really solid all season, but especially in the past couple of games. But somebody who is neither a blue liner nor scored a goal last night but had a massive impact on the game was Bobo Carpenter with a hat trick of assists.
Yeah, I mean, 3 assists. That's the most any Everblades player has had this season. Ties the most amount of points in a game by any Blade so far this year. And he's not just all scoring. I mean, he leads the team in goals with 7 and points with 12. But he's showing that he's also a really good facilitator of the puck. And you need guys like Carpenter who can do it all, right? This is a guy who did not have the season he wanted last year due to things outside of his control. So far this year, he's having a great start to the season. First star of yesterday's game. Certainly well earned. And although it was a really strong team effort, sometimes in any game, guys rise above everyone else, and Carpenter has been doing that on a consistent basis this year.
Another big performer and somebody that's been in the crease for the past 3 Everblades wins has been Cam Johnson. Another strong performance from the netminder. After getting a win in Greenville, a green in Orlando, he does it in front of the home crowd.
Yeah, and arguably this one, I would say at points it was the most impressive yet. Overall, in terms of saves, the one in Orlando would be the one you take 34 out of 35. But yesterday, 23 out of 25 saves. He's looking like Cam Johnson again, which is great to see. And when Cam Johnson gets on a roll, we saw it in the playoffs last year, right? He has the power to take over games. He didn't need to do that yesterday, but it wouldn't have been a surprise where if Atlanta had a really strong push when they were down 2 goals going into the third, Cam Johnson was there and ready to make those saves, and it's expected he's going to be ready to do that a whole lot more this season.
Cam Johnson shutting down the best scoring team in the entire South Division, 40 goals for, 19 goals against going into yesterday's game. and Cam Johnson only allowing 2 in a big 6-2 victory over the Gladiators. But Jake, I think it's time to get into the Griffith Group of Downing Fry Realty 3 keys to the game.
Well, I already touched on one discipline with how impactful special teams were yesterday. If you can find a way to end up on the right side of the penalty count, force Atlanta to take more penalties and lean back on your own. Yesterday, Atlanta did have more power play opportunities than Florida did. Fans might not have agreed with how that happened, but it is what it is. You got to recognize how the officiating is going in the game, see what you can get away with, and play within those rules. And if you can come out with more power plays than your opponent, that's going to really help you win the game. Second off, maybe a little bit more shot volume. The Blades with 29 shots on goal. It was the first time the Blades outshot an opponent and won the game so far this year. So it was great to see. But if you can add on even more while still mitigating the shots against, that would be excellent. And then finally, absorb everything from the tape from yesterday's game and get ready to do that again. Atlanta's going to be coming better today. This was the first time this season where they really got smacked around in a game. Their first loss of the year was a tight 2-1 loss against Greenville. Certainly could have been anyone's game. This one yesterday was all Florida, especially from the second and third onward. Atlanta's going to be ready today. They're going to be trying to bring out their best, get back to the form they were playing with early in the season when they were the team that was going into other people's barns and dominating groups at home. So it's not going to be nearly as easy as it was for Florida last night, but if you look at the tape, you remember the good things that you did, not focusing on the bad from Atlanta. Focus on your good and repeat that, and then the Blades are going to be in a really good spot today.
No doubt. Expect a very high-octane game. And Jake, this is the final Everblades game in the month of November. The next time we're going to be here is going to be December 6th, for crying out loud. But should be a great game. 7 p.m. puck drop here at Hertz Arena against the Atlanta Gladiators. And come to Hertz Arena and celebrate Swampy's birthday. I hear his mascot friends are going to be here.
He's going to have a lot of friends here. It's going to be a lot of fun tonight.
It's going to be a great night. Swampy's birthday, great game teed up against the Atlanta Gladiators. Again, 7 p.m. puck drop. We'll see you there.